Hey guys, welcome. So does everyone see me? Because this is the very first time I'm using StreamYard. OBS kept crashing. So I've been live for 25 seconds. I'm going to give everyone a chance to move over. Yeah. So let me find where I can get the stream. Yeah. Excellent. So everyone, welcome. Thanks all for being here. I'm just going to give you guys 1 minute to switch over. Chloe, welcome. Good to see you. Matanga, Mariana, XYZ was thank you, Gabriel. Good to see you guys. And someone left me a super chat earlier. Silver LTC, thank you very, very much. I'm very grateful. Thank you. Now, let me share my screen. Let me get started. Uh, so, I'm just sharing my second screen. So, you guys should see me at the moment, right? Along with I have no idea what happened. OBS just crashed each time. I've rebooted a couple of times. I reinstalled it. Nothing. So Dodzor Reason says welcome. Hey there. Good to see you guys all. Okay, so this is a preview of what I will be doing with Thaddeus next week. So I'm going to pick up where I left off. Now, the point of this discussion is to talk about Islam having a basis in pagan religion, specifically moon worship, with Allah being a moon god. Now, I know that there's been a lot said about this back and forth. I thought I would have a look at this and try to see if I can come up with something definitive, and I believe I have. I believe we can most certainly show that Islam was rife with Babylonian pagan gods, that the entire Arabian pantheon was Babylonian, and that all of the gods, including those of the Quraysh in Mecca, all of these were worshipping the moon god, and that Allah was one of these. So let me start here. I finished with Thaddeus a week ago with this slide, talking about Abd Manaf. So apparently Khadija bore him a son called Abd Manaf, the servant of Manaf by Muhammad. Now, Manaf was an ancient idol venerated by the Quraysh, one of the most important divinities at Mecca. Let's look a little deeper into who Manaf was. Now, think of this, Manaf, Manat, very similar names, right? Now, Manaf is a pre-Islamic god worshipped among the Quraysh and other tribes of northwest Arabia. We know little about this deity except the lists that are preserved by Muslim scholars. From the name, it would appear that he was an astral deity and his idols were located in the Kaaba. Right? So, yes, MOONotheism. Exactly, Thaddeus. MOONotheism. Right. Now let's look at Manat. She's an important female deity of the pre Islamic period. She's usually associated with Alat and Al Uzza, the so called daughters of Allah. Evidence from the Near East shows that this goddess was very ancient. Her name appears in early Akkadian and is one of the names associated with Ishtar. Ishtar is the star god, right? Goes under many names: Venus, Ishtar, Ashtaroth. We'll come through those names in a bit. Generally perceived to be the son of the moon god and the sun god. In Palmyra, now, of course, sometimes in certain cultures, the deities switch genders from male to female or vice versa. In Palmyra, she's shown as a seated deity holding a scepter and so on. In Arabia, her worship location was close to Yathrib, Medina, and she was worshipped by the two Arab tribes of the city. She was linked with Alat and Al Uzza, and Ugaritic evidence has three linked female deities as the daughters of Baal. Interesting. So Baal apparently has three daughters, and they may be the same as Alat, Manat, and Al Uzza. Let's continue. So the symbol for Al Makkah this year, as you can see, is the crescent moon, the horned god, or the crescent moon, the moon god. Now, this symbol, generally the disk represents the sun, but not in every case. It may also represent the disk of Venus, the morning star. Here you can see again the crescent moon god symbol. Hi, Andrew. Aquarian Riddle. Welcome, Sergeant Grinch. Good to see you guys. So, now the Sabaean moon god, Al-Makka, was king of the gods, similar to the Mesopotamian moon god, Nanna, also known as Sin, Nanar, Nanaswen, and several other names. He's one of the oldest deities in the Mesopotamian pantheon. Al-Makka was the main god for Yemen and Axum in Ethiopia before Christianity, along with Shams or Shemesh, the sun god. Now, the Somalians worshipped on Makkah, but also a god called Wak. Now, we'll skip that. So understand this is still raw. I haven't finished these slides yet, so there may be some bugs. You might find some oddities in the slides, but that's to be expected. So yes, thanks XYZ. So today's topic is MOONotheism. We're going to look at, is Allah a moon god? And I think the answer to this is, well, partly at least. So Nabonidus. Let's look at the Temple of Sin. Now, Nabonidus, we've mentioned it before. He controlled this region here, okay? And this region, of course, was desert. So at that time, people couldn't really live there and travel there. It wasn't very comfortable because of the harsh conditions. His son was Belshazzar. You'll know him along with the prophet Daniel with the finger with the writing on the wall. He lived 10 years in a place called Taima, Saudi Arabia, which is around about here. It's north of Medina. Also called Yemen in the past, interestingly. It's an oasis with a history of settlement, and it is about 350 km north of Medina, and it was a center of moon worship. Now, Nabonidus was the son-in-law of King Nebuchadnezzar, also mentioned in the Bible. His mother was a high priestess of the moon god Sin in Haran, in Turkey, and his daughter was the high priestess of the moon god Sin at Ur. So he's, of course, mentioned, and Sin is mentioned in Judges 8:21. I'm going to skip these for the time being. Right? I'll give those a longer treatment next time, as well as this. Now, the word Yathrib appears in an inscription found in Haran in Turkey, which belongs to the Babylonian king Nabonidus. So he speaks of Yathrib, Medina. Now, when he invaded Arabia, he went down as far as Medina. Now, he was the last king of Babylon, of the Sumerian Mesopotamian cultures. As we said, he was related to Nebuchadnezzar, and he had a childhood in Sabian Haran, which is a major site of worship for the moon god Sin. He has been called the first archaeologist, apparently, but he rearranged the Babylonian pantheon of gods. At that time, the major god was Marduk. Paganism was a family affair, correct, Andrew? But guys, I think what you're going to learn here today is going to change things. It's going to change the way we perceive things. So here he's pictured on an engraving in Saudi Arabia. He's wearing a little wizard's hat with his staff. Here you've got the moon god, the two-horned moon god. You've got the sun, the feathered sun, and the star. This snake apparently represents the Milky Way. He lived in Taima, Saudi Arabia, for 10 years as his capital before he moved back to Mesopotamia. Now, Sin is considered the father of the gods and the god of wisdom, worshipped in Haran until the arrival of Islam. Now, crescent moon flags in the region, which are very common within Islamic countries, are traced to Sin. And also remember, there was a trinity of gods: star, moon, sun. The sun was not the chief god in the Arabian pantheon. In other cultures, the star was considered male and the moon female. In Arabia, it was flipped around.